welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to further analysis on yesterday's game between Barcelona and Villarreal at the Camp Nou. And in today's video we are going to be discussing Dembele's performance in some more detail, putting some stats behind that mind-blowing display on the right hand side where he was completely electric. We're also going to be analysing the performance of Lionel Messi in a bit more detail. Was he really under par yesterday? And we're going to be talking a lot about that. And also, with regard to that Messi performance and with regard to Dembele, we are going to be discussing a potential formation change which really could benefit everyone once Luis Suarez returns. And finally, we are going to be discussing Ernesto Valverde's preferences in midfield, with particular emphasis on Ivan Rakitic and how he remains to be in the team no matter what. So all of that and some more coming right up. Let's do this. But we will, of course, start with Ousmane Dembélé, who, like I say, was absolutely electric yesterday, and it was really a brilliant all-round performance from Ousmane Dembélé, and he yesterday was actually the man that we looked to make things happen. Usually, all eyes are on Messi, it's all on Messi's shoulders to try and make something happen, but yesterday, the players were actively trying to pick out Dembélé. Every time that Dembélé got the ball, the crowd sort of sat up in their seat, awaiting something quite special, perhaps, that was going to happen, and that's the kind of players that we've always wanted to see at Barcelona, those that can entertain, those that can get us off our seats. That's what football is all about, and Dembélé really was impressive yesterday. 8 dribbles completed, I mentioned that in the review, which was absolutely huge on the night, the most out of any player by some distance, and it's also the most dribbles completed by any Barcelona player right throughout this season so far. In one game, Dembele's 8 last night was superior, and that's very impressive considering we do have one Lionel Messi on our team. And of course, Dembélé once again creating chances for his teammates. He did it against PSV, did it exactly the same last night, getting into those final third areas and making things happen, creating the goal, of course, for Gerard Piqué with a brilliant cross into the area, and he did create 3 other big chances aside from that one. But if there was one thing as well that I was really impressed with yesterday from Dembélé, it was that attitude once again to go out there and work for the team, something that, of course, Ernesto Valverde does demand of Dembélé, and you can see that he is starting to warm to that. He's starting to work a bit harder. He got involved in tackles yesterday, he got involved in several ball recoveries right over on that right hand side, both in his own half and in Villarreal's half, and I was impressed again with the attitude that Dembélé showed right throughout the game. But if there's one thing really that I would look at with Dembele's performance yesterday and say there's one step that he can go further, there's one more brilliant thing that he can do in his game, it's all about that final third, and in particular that final pass, that final piece of the jigsaw that he just needs to put it together. And the best part about that is it's actually one of his biggest strengths. At Borussia Dortmund, his final ball was impeccable. His decision making was always brilliantly accurate, and I think that's really exciting, because I think right now what we're seeing here is Dembélé finding his range at Barcelona, trying to understand his teammates. You saw him a few times yesterday with Nelson Semedo, with Vidal, with Messi, just maybe mistiming the passes just a little bit, and it didn't quite come off. But at the same time, with every passing minute on that field, with every passing game, Ousmane Dembélé is learning the runs, he's analysing the movement of his teammates, and that final ball, it's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to come very soon, and you'll see those dribbles, those skills, that electric pace down the right-hand side, getting in behind, drifting into spaces, direct running. You'll see all of that come to fruition in the final third, complete with that final ball, and when that happens, when it all comes together as the full package, it is going to be absolutely devastating. And when we're talking about the right-hand side, we now come on to Lionel Messi, who would usually, of course, occupy that right-wing role when Luis Suarez is in the team at number 9, but he has actually played the last 2 games, Lionel Messi, in a slightly withdrawn role at false 9, and I do still believe that Messi in false 9 can be very, very effective indeed if you use it in the right way, because he's central to everything. He really is the hub of the team there. Everything can go through him. He can control things. He can drop deep if he needs to, but I think yesterday he was crying out for a centre-forward ahead of him, not Arturo Vidal, not some midfielder just playing there and occupying the space. He needed a centre-forward to actually be there, latch onto things, make that run in behind, just like Carlos Alenia did for the goal when he came on. That kind of attacking instinct, you needed that in the team yesterday, and we didn't really have it. And yesterday's game, to me, it just screamed out 4-2-3-1. I think going forward in these kind of games, at home, in La Liga, against a team that you feel you're going to dominate, you feel you're going to control against, that you're going to create chances against, I think 4-2-3-1 is the way forward to get the best out of all of our attacking players. It really does benefit everyone, and we have to see that, I think, when Luis Suarez returns, and potentially even before that. Because just take a look here at this setup, and look how many options this formation and this setup gives you in a game. Like I say, it's not going to be every game, it's not going to be away in the Champions League, you're going to set up like this, but at home, in a La Liga game, like yesterday, like the majority of games that we'll face at home this season in La Liga, you can use this, and it will be absolutely devastating. In midfield here, once Arthur returns, him alongside Busquets in midfield, that guarantees you a certain amount of control. It also guarantees you a bit of physicality here with Busquets, and a bit of athleticism here with Arthur. He can get back in there, he's good defensively, and he's good here with his interceptions. But what he also can do is take the pressure off. Him and Busquets can combine. They can control the ball there in midfield. You've also then got ahead of them one of the best controllers in the world with the ball at his feet. That's Lionel Messi. He can set the tempo here. He can be the metronome of the team right from that central area. He's got Coutinho to his left, he's got Dembele to his right, and he's got Luis Suarez ahead of him. He is not going to be isolated like he was yesterday in this kind of setup. Surround Messi with players who can be dangerous, who can make runs off the ball, who can stick to their positioning when they need to, and you will see Messi unlock defences time and time again. And Ousmane Dembélé out on this right hand side, he belongs out there, he's most effective out there, he can combine with Nelson Semedo, it all works out perfectly. And what's more, when he gets to the byline, when he gets down this right hand side and he's got an opportunity to put it in the box, when he does that, you've got a number 9 here in Luis Suarez, who will gladly make those runs, receive the ball, get on the end of things in headers and shots and things like that. He will score goals from Dembele's assists, no doubt about that. And also Philippe Coutinho, a player just like Messi yesterday. I felt he was isolated, he was out here in the left wing role, not really doing anything, not really getting the ball, until he actually came a bit more central and a bit deeper in that second half. But in this formation, he can do a number of things. He can play in the left wing role when he needs to, but when he's not seeing the ball, he can just drop back in. He can give a bit of midfield support here, he can link up with Arthur, he can link up with Busquets, and he can just operate in the spaces where Lionel Messi isn't. If Messi makes a run out here or into here, Coutinho can drop in, and they can just be nice and flexible. That is what you want from your team, a bit of flexibility, a lot of options, a lot of attacking intent, and basically, you just want this man here, Messi, who you know can pick any pass on any given moment. If you give him options, if you give him avenues to run down, to pass down, he will find them. And this formation for me, like I said, you look at it there, in the right circumstances, in the right games, it benefits everyone. And just finally, for those rival fans who are saying Lionel Messi had a terrible game yesterday, which he didn't, he wasn't terrible, absolutely no doubt about that. He was still, by his own standards, maybe down a bit, but by normal standards, it was still a very good display. By normal player standards, he still provided a stunning assist, that brilliant pass, perfect weight on it for Carlos Alenia, which was a crucial moment in the game, and potentially a crucial goal in the future of our club for young Carlos Alenia there. Provided by Messi, he was the man orchestrating, still alive, 3 minutes from time, he gets the job done, and that's just Lionel Messi for you. One pass, one movement, one little opening, and he can kill you without even giving you the chance to blink. Which brings me finally onto the relationship between Ivan Rakitic and Ernesto Valverde, and in particular referencing that story from Sport just a few weeks ago in the last international break that was mentioned when they said that basically Ernesto Valverde had promised Ivan Rakitic to start every single game that he was available for in order to stop him joining PSG back in the summer. Now originally I didn't think much of that story, but now as we continue to see Rakitic not only start games but also play the full 90 minutes, game in, game out, whatever the circumstances, you're starting to think maybe there could be something to that. Because look, I don't hate Rakitic, I really don't. I don't dislike him. I know there's a lot of people on here who don't like him, and that's absolutely fine, but I personally don't have anything against Rakitic, and I still believe that he can be of use to this team. But this guy is not undroppable, he is not unsubbable, he is not somebody who should be an undisputed starter in this team no matter what. We're at Barcelona here, one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in the world. You have to earn the right to play. You've got to earn your place no matter who you are. Yet Valverde doesn't drop Rakitic, he doesn't take him off, he doesn't rest him, he plays him game in, game out, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes. Even though Rakitic actually has only just come back from an injury, he's still played 90 minutes in the Champions League, 90 minutes now in the league, just days apart. That is not healthy. The guy is 30 years old now, just coming back from an injury, and he's going to burn himself out. It's not going to be too long until he picks up another if he's going on at this rate. It's not right, it's not sensible, and I think Valverde has to do other things. He's got to put Vidal in there, who clearly yesterday was very, very unhappy to come off when he did. I think he was frustrated. He was given a different kind of role by Valverde. He tried to do it the best that he could. He wanted to be in that midfield, but he was pushed up the field, and he tried his very, very best. And actually, when he was pulled off by Ernesto Valverde during that second half, there were a lot of whistles and a lot of unhappy fans in the crowd there at the Camp Nou, and all those whistles directed at the decision of Ernesto Valverde. He takes Vidal off, he'll take Coutinho off, he'll take Dembele off, but the one man that he won't is Ivan Rakitic, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how long this goes on for. If he picks up another injury, it'll be on Valverde, it'll be on himself. You've got to take better care, you've got to rotate, and like I say, every single player, they've got to earn that right to play, they've got to earn their spot in the team, no matter who you are. And so that was basically my thoughts on yesterday's performance against Villarreal, guys. Like I said yesterday, very, very important 3 points. We are now back on top in La Liga, exactly where we belong, and the thing we have to do now is stay there. So leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What did you think of all those performances yesterday? Who stood out for you? Who needs to do better? And what do you think of that 4-2-3-1 formation in the kind of game that we saw yesterday? Could it work? Let me know in the comments down below. I will see you soon with more videos. But until then, as always, Vasca el Barça.